Donald Trump says he will turn himself in on Thursday in Atlanta, Georgia, in connection with his indictment in the state. He and 18 others are facing numerous charges for allegedly trying to overturn Trump's loss in Georgia in the 2020 election. The CBC's Magda Gebrselassie is in Washington with the latest for us.
Trump continues to call this a witch hunt, and while he and his co-defendants are being accused of trying to interfere in the last election, he continues to claim that this case against him is trying to interfere in the next election. Now, yesterday, bail conditions for the former president were set. A bond of $200,000 was put in place, but only 10% of that has to actually be put up. As for conditions, Trump has been told not to communicate with any of his co-accused except through his lawyers. He's also being told not to intimidate any co-defendants or witnesses and not to get in the way of the administration of justice. Now, that includes no direct or indirect threats against his co-defendants, witnesses, victims, any community or community property. Now, many times before, Trump has lashed out online and at events against those investigating him and others. Essentially, he's now being warned to watch his words. Here's Sarah Flack, a former prosecutor in Fulton County that has previously worked with Fani Willis. Take a listen.
I can tell you she has a team of prosecutors and investigators in that office that have been assigned to this case exclusively and that are going to be monitoring his social media, monitoring his team, monitoring anything that he says at any speech, any public forum. So I can absolutely tell him, if I was his attorney, do not speak, because Madam DA Fani Willis will absolutely use what he says if she can.
Now, this case in Georgia is the fourth time that Trump will be turning himself in to face charges. You've got the federal case here in D.C. around his alleged attempts to overturn the 2020 election. There's the federal case in Miami involving classified documents. And in Manhattan, there is the case over allegations of falsifying business records. On top of all of this legal trouble, Trump is still running his campaign to be president again. The first Republican presidential debate for the 2024 election is taking place this Wednesday, and Trump won't be there. Magda Gebrselassie, CBC News, Washington.